the owner of Nemo Equipment. He's not your typical overlander. He brought us his vehicle. He had specific requirements that were unlike any other that we had seen before. He's a combination overlander, ice climber, rock climber, backpacker, rally driver. So we needed to develop a system for his vehicle that would meet all these needs, supporting him, his wife, his newly born daughter, and a huge mallet unit. Not an easy task, so this vehicle was built in two different stages. The first stage was to solve storage problems in the back of the vehicle and create secure storage, and augment electrical systems and provide air systems on board for reinflation of tires. We also did some cosmetic work and suspension work, gears, lockers, 35-inch tires to drive this whole beast. The second stage of the buildup on this vehicle involved more electronics, backup cameras, bumpers, augmented suspension in the rear for increased loads, and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through this vehicle and show you what we've done. Cam spends an extensive amount of time on the road, not only in this vehicle pursuing his outdoor activities, but also marketing his products. He needed his seat here in the vehicle to be this control point where he could operate everything that we had installed on the vehicle. So essentially create this control center for him. And also to build it in a way that when you're being jostled around in the off-road environment, that you might not accidentally knock a switch. So for starters, we had to install new gears and lockers in Cam's truck. And quite often locker switches are placed at a point where you might knock it with a knee if you were moving around. So what we did was we tied in a switch in the overhead console that we had created to tie in the compressor, and unless the compressor is turned on, you cannot turn on the locker. So you hear a compressor fire up in the background in the back of the truck. So we separated that out. The secondary switch that we added here was to illuminate all of the reverse lights that are on this truck. Now this switch has a duplicate switch in the back of the truck, so it can be activated separately from being inside the cab. So not only does it activate the factory reverse lights, but it activates the additional reverse lights that we added onto the truck. The third switch that we put in activates all of the rock lights or underbody lights that we installed in the truck. And there are 6 high output LED units that are right where the front tires are, right in the center of the truck, and right where the rear tires are, so he can see what he's doing in the dark. And the fourth switch we tied into a reverse camera. Now this reverse camera is mounted in his bumper. Instead of tying the switch into his reverse circuit, we tied it into this switch, which allows him to turn on the camera, let's say if he's towing a trailer behind him and he wants to see what's going on with the trailer, because the back of his truck is so filled with gear he can't see out the rear window. And then the fifth position we left open because, you know, in an overland vehicle, eventually you're going to add something else. Cam needed to have a high quality 2-meter radio, so we tucked the Yasu down inside the console, which means we had to conceal all the wiring throughout the center console so that nothing's hanging out, but yet it's still very serviceable. We added a speaker that's directionally pointed at him but not in his way, and then we also added additional power outlets here for phone charging and other accessories because he likes to carry around quite a few additional electronic toys. And then behind the seat, behind the center console, we also added 2 more outlets. And for additional onboard safety, we installed a clean chemical fire extinguisher so that he has easy access to it. To power all these additional electrical needs, we installed a National Luna dual battery system. The dual battery system protects his starting battery for when he needs it and separates it out. And so that he can monitor what's going on with the performance of the alternator in the truck and the performance of the starting battery and the performance of his house battery, there's a separate remote controller here so that he can monitor this while he's driving. He can also link the batteries together if he has a very intense cold starting situation.
Okay.